Hey board gamers, this is Will from A Cardboard Minute. We're going to do a solo playthrough and review of Glass Road, designed by Uwe Rosenberg and published by Mayfair Games. And there is a new edition coming out within a few months from Capstone Games. This is a action selection game where you are going to be using cards to do actions so that you can kind of reform your landscape here by removing force, building various production lands, producing different resources, and building new buildings. The goal is to get as many points as possible in the solo game, and it is fairly challenging. You have a fairly limited amount of buildings to build, and they do not cycle especially quickly. There are some variants that people suggest online of cycling them, but the main draw of the game is to do what you can with what you got. So we're going to go ahead and do an overview, and then I'll let you know what my thoughts are at the end. All right, so this is Glass Road. We have here, each player will have their own kind of landscape with the same setup. There are spots shown on the board that says where each of the tiles go. And you'll have a certain amount of natural force, and then wood for harvesting, sand pits, and water. And you'll be able to get food and different resources from these different places. There's also 3 pre-built buildings that will give you endgame scoring, shown by the little stars in the corner. And these are generally based on different resources. You will be able to replace these as the game goes, which we'll show you in a minute. So how the game works is each player will have a deck of cards, and you will be selecting 5 cards to choose from, and then you will be taking turns placing a card, which card you're going to play at this point in time, revealing it. If anyone else has that card still in their hand, then they have to immediately play it. And if you are the only person to select the card, you will get to do both of the actions in the top and bottom of the card. If there was other people, then everyone who had that card in their hand gets to do one of the 2 actions. Any player who may have had it already face down gets to keep it there and continue. And you will do that through 3 rounds. So some people may end up playing more cards than others because they'll pop out of their hands. Solo's a little different though. Solo, we instead have a little solo tile here. Oops, that tells you how many cards you're going to be selecting during each round and building a little deck out of. Now these cards have to be selected from the cards that were not chosen on the previous round. And then the way you play them is going to be a little different too. So say if I have a deck of 3 cards, like in the first round, I'll have 3 chosen, but then I have to shuffle them. And then we're going to go in through and draw them. And each one we draw, I only get to do one of the options until we get to the last 2 cards, in which case I select one to discard, and the other I get to do both of the actions. So based on how the numbers kind of rise and fall, there is a bit of a cadence to the game. It kind of grows and shrinks and then grows again by the end. Now, what these different cards do, some cards will have a cost along the left side and actions in the top and bottom. Like I mentioned before, you may get to do both of them depending on the circumstances. Usually the cost is paid out of resources, but occasionally it is paid out of removing a natural forest. Now this is actually a good thing because you do want to clear up space on your board so that you can build new buildings on. There are also stacks of the various landscape tiles that you'll be able to place as well. And you'll probably notice that I actually have the buildings in some drawstring bags. I have them sorted by types here with the blue, yellow, and orange. And I found this just helps aid setup, makes it a little bit faster. So instead of having to order and stack each type of building and then shuffle them and then deal them out, I can just reach into the bag, grab a building, and place it. I find that anything you can do to speed up the setup of the game, anything that will help you to get to the table sooner, means you have that much more time to play. And you're not going to sit there staring at your game collection and saying, oh, I love to play this game, but man, it takes so long to set up. So that's the goal. If you guys are interested in seeing some of my methodology on how to get games to the table faster, and I have a number of tricks to speed that up, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll make a whole video about it. So you'll probably notice here we have these two wheels. These are one of the most interesting mechanics I have seen in many games for managing resources. And how these work is that they will move automatically based on empty spaces. And what that means is that production of glass and bricks is done automatically. So if you take an action that you will spend or you will gain something like coal, so you see there are numbers on the dial and sections based on the resource. If I gained, say, 2 coal, there's now a gap next to the basic resources. And so immediately the spinner will move, producing 1 brick. Right? If I then get some meat, it will move again. And now I'm up to 2 bricks. And then spending resources just brings them back down to 0. It was a very interesting way to manage that. And I'll talk more about that at the end. All right, so other things to look at the cards. There are some cards that will give you a free landscape tile, which you must place on an empty space. You can only remove the large force with the cards that require you to pay for them by removing a large force. But the production landscape tiles can be removed freely. However, you are not going to get them back unless you use a special action that lets you get them back. Then we have some that will also produce things based on how many of each of those landscapes you have. There are some very potent combo or engine building based around some of these, where you're getting multiple landscapes of a certain type out, and then getting really big production actions. These are very important to watch out for. And then building buildings is going to be the symbol here. Now, buildings, I have a track over here. There's 3 different tracks of buildings. They will refill by the end of the round that they get filled up, that they get taken. We have the top row are anytime action buildings. When you have one of these built, by paying the cost to the left, you can take the actions shown in the blue part at any time during your turn. Buildings are all worth points, shown in the brown bag at the top right. The middle, which are like the gold kind of colored buildings, or the beige, these will be a one-time action. They trigger as soon as you build the building, and then that's it. They are worth points often, and occasionally give you a large sudden increase. Like for 7, I like to call that one oatmeal, I'm not really sure. So 7 of some sort of food, or 5 wood. It's a lot all at once. And then the orange or browner colored buildings are in-game scoring. And sometimes they're based on adjacencies to land types, or things like how much glass you have, or other resources. Lastly, there are brick color buildings. Brick buildings will be placed over existing buildings that are your starter buildings, and they'll specify on them, like this one replaces a glass works. So it would go over here, and now I no longer score for glass, but it gives me 5 wood right away. So maybe if my strategy does not depend on having lots of glass at the end of the game, that could be highly beneficial. All right, so at the end of the game, you just calculate your score, add up your variable buildings, the points in all the buildings, anything that has a star, and then that's your goal. And away you go. So let's get started here. I need to figure out a strategy. I'm going to take a look over at the production buildings first. Maybe I can find some good combo based on what things create with what I can do. You know, I can remove a sand tile to get extra food and sand. That could be useful if I had an easy way to do it. Removing a whole bunch of remove a forest and spin a wood to get 4 food. That's a lot of food. Private offer refers to there is one card type, the feudal lord, who lets you reserve a building that you can then build using a build action, and only you may build it. But I feel like in a solo game that's probably less useful because I'm not trying to save buildings before other players get them. It's just me. So let's see. Maybe I'll be able to remove one is typically nice. Maybe I'll just grab something cheap to start, and that gives me lots of resources like glass and food. I already have a food. Glass should be easy to get. I just need to produce some sand. So how about let's do getting some water and sands. Maybe a sand per water. And let's see what else is really low. Coal is low right now. So let's go for a remove a forest to clear up some space. So I've got 3 cards selected for the first round. We're going to shuffle. And then we're going to begin. Draw the first card. And so I get to do one of the 2 actions. I'm going to remove a forest. Let's maybe start from the middle somewhere. And I am going to get 2 coal or 2 food. I'm going to grab the 2 coal. And my resource spinner is immediately going to turn, producing me 1 brick, but also eating up some food. Next, since there are only 2 cards left, I'm going to reveal them. I can either get some water and a new water tile and some things based on that, or I can pay a food and get a whole bunch of other resources. You know, that's probably a pretty good one because that will give me a net of 5 resources. So let's do that. We'll spend a porridge, and the resources cannot be split if there are a couple tracks that have the same resource, like there's food on each of them and coal on each of them. You cannot split things. But here I would get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 water. That's quite a lot. A wood and a sand, and then that's going to produce glass immediately. All right, so first round's over. These cards are set aside. I have to choose something that is different. And I have the glass now. I just need to get the meat and then build. I have tons of water, so let's spend some water on some food. Maybe, let's see, we've got lots of wood. What do we not have a lot of? We still don't have a lot of sand anymore, so we'll do that. Let's get some oatmeal. And this is round 2, so I can pick 4 cards, and then let's build. I like the cultivator because he could potentially let you add one of the resource production resource landscapes as well as build. So hopefully that will be last. It would be terrible if that building card was first because I don't have the resources to build what I want to build. Okay, let's begin. Card 1. Perfect. Spend a water and get 4 of this orange food or meat or whatever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, okay, I'm going to grab the 2 sands since I have 2 sand tiles. And then lastly, I get a choice. And I think now that I have what I wanted for my original choice, I'm going to go ahead and build. Oh, you know what? There might be a better option. I'm gonna take the building one. And I feel like having sand is probably a good plan for some of the cards. Seem pretty meat heavy out there. So, or I'm gonna add one maybe over here. And I get to build something from the offer. And let's see, I have 1 brick to spend. I got lots of wood, I got lots of food. So I could take this one to let me clear out the area for coal pretty easily. I could use this one, but that's, again, not especially useful. Now this building is pretty interesting because I have lots of food right now. And I have the glass, and I have the meat, and I have the wood to spend on it. But I don't have a lot of oatmeal. So I think I'm going to buy this one. Glass gets spent, and 3 meat. And I don't think there's any adjacencies for this, so I'm going to put it off in the corner somewhere just in case I find something I want later. And I can do this action at any time. So I think maybe, you know, I'll just wait, because since I can do it anytime. So the cards I played this round are going to get set aside. The other ones go back in my hands. And we're going to refill the building market for the next round. All right, and go for some more cards. So we've got lots of sand right now, but that's not especially helpful. We need some food. We can get food, but it's going to cost us wood every time we do it. And a landscape. So we need some more wood. I think this would be a good time since we're playing 5 cards. You know what? No, I'll wait on that. Let's do the woodcutter to get more wood. And I feel like we can spend the oatmeal to build something. I feel like we're going to have enough by the time we do that a couple times. We're getting low on coal again, so let's get some more coal. And I don't think there's any good options for meat. A lot of the buildings do require meat. Well, maybe. Well, let's just produce based on water. That's probably just a good idea anyways. Okay. Oops. That's not 5 cards. I need 1 more. And let's see, maybe I should spend some more food and some more water. Why not? That sounds like a good plan. All right, shuffle up. And then I'm going to begin. Okay, we got some early wood. Let's get rid of a forest and add 2 wood. Okay, I can spend a food to build. So I have no food, but since my joinery is an anytime action, I'm going to spend wood, remove a forest. I know clear cutting is generally a bad thing, but we are talking about the old glass road in Europe, and we're into production of glass here. So let's do that and get 4 food here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Automatically produces 1 glass. And I think I'm going to do it again. Another wood. Remove another forest. Since I can do this action anytime as much as I want. Get 4 food on the other side. And that produces more bricks. I am pretty flush in the expensive resources. So now I can spend a food to build. Now the question is, do I still have the resources to build, or did I just waste all of them? I have no meat left. I have a glass. I have 3 wood. I could build the points per glass. 3 points per glass. That really upgrades my glass production from 1 point of glass to 3. maybe that will be the key to this game. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. 1 glass, 1 brick. And let's place it up here. So I think I'm going for glass. That seems to be what to do this round for this game. All right, I have no wood left. Oh, that is a waste. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought that for 3 wood. So, unfortunately, that card does absolutely nothing for me right now. I have no way of getting wood. Well, that's too bad. That's probably going to cost me. And then the last 2, yeah, I think I'm going to do that one because it gives me wood. So I'll spend with my copious amounts of oatmeal. You get 4 water, 1, 2, 3, a bit of a waste, but I get food and wood and a sand. Okay, back in my hands. All right, so this is the big 6-card round. Now we're at round 6. This is a good time for the fuel collector. So he could give you 1 coal per card in your hand. If I'm lucky, I'll draw him first. Got a ton of water to spend, so let's spend some water on some food. I'm gonna need some more coal because I'm out again. So let's do the slash and burn farmer. Lovely. Oh, we need to refill the brown buildings. Draw one from my bag. And I could really use more meat, so let's keep the sand production going here. So 4, 2 more cards. Or maybe by then, the cultivator will get me extra buildings. And I'm getting them pretty low in wood, so let's do the forest manager too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards for this round. This is the biggest one in the game. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. One per card in your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my hand is technically 5 cards. Then a water. So I'm going to get 5 coal. And it's going to have to be on this side because I want glass for points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is amazing. Glass is going to produce. I still have lots of water, so let's spend that to get 2 meat. Good. Okay, let's burn 1 forest down with the slash and burn farmer. And this time we're going for 2 coal on this side. And that's going to produce a whopping 2 brick. I am at max brick right now. Next, let's see, I can add that are probably 3 meats. Or do I want to add another sand pit? The sand pit could be useful in the long term, but I could really use that 3 meat right now, especially since there are a lot of buildings that use meat. So I'm thinking I'm going to take the 3 meat. 1, 2, 3, 1 per sand pit, and then the last 2. All right, so I can either get a whole bunch of wood, which would let me then fill up on food again, or I can build. Let's check the market because I've got 3 meat now, and a lot of these do take meat. So I could get points per coal at the end of the game. That could be really good for more points. Let's see, 1 wood per water I have at the time I build this, so that would be 4 wood right away. That is very nice. I have no wood to build that. I could just get 5 wood right away. Spend a glass though. I kind of want to save my glass if I can. Oh, that I can't build it anyways. That removes the glassworks, which I just realized that should have covered over there. Sorry, my bad. The brick buildings cover over existing ones, so I can't build that now because I'll build over my existing one. Or I can get 7 food. Oh, but I have no wood. So So it's like either I get 1, 2, 3, 4 wood now and increase my production, or 4 wood now, spend a bunch of food, of meat, still get points at the end of the game. Well, there's still 3 rounds left, so let's increase production. That's probably best. I'm gonna add another forest tile, spread it out here just in case I'm able to get some sort of adjacency bonus, and get a wood, and then I'm gonna produce wood for each of my forests. So that's another 3. 1, 2, 3. And glass is going to produce. So, you know, that netted me 3 points because of my glass. All right. Cycle. Put that back in my hands. And now we're back down. We're down to 3 cards. Kind of weak. Kind of weak. I can pretty much get as much porridge or oatmeal as I want, but I'm still low on coal. Let's see if I can charcoal burn some more, get some more coal. That points per coal is looking pretty good too. And I do have the meat now. Maybe I should build something. I don't think I want to spend a forest on it because the forest action gives me 4 food. That's really good. I kind of don't want to spend any more forests. I could spend oatmeal to build. And I think maybe I will use the supplier. So the supplier gives you 2 goods the same, so 2 of the same good of your choice, and each other player receives 1. Except in solo play, you just get 1 good. It's not that great, but it let me build without having to pay anything extra. That could be quite useful if I'm getting short on resources near the end. And then I could spend coal to get food. Let's see, I've got build, coal, and maybe more build, just in case I don't get the first build. I think that works. We'll do that. All right, shuffle up. Let's cycle the old ones and flip. Okay, there's that first build. So pay the food, and I think I might just go straight for that end game building. Unless there's some better way to get coal. I can spend a wood for 2 coal. But then I have to get 3 more meat and build the other one by the end and raise my coal. It might be tough. Because I've got 3 forests. You know, maybe this is why I built those 3 forests, is to get the wood. So, you know, let's do that one. So I'm going to build this one up here. I can spend a wood to get 2 coal. That'll be great later on when I'm trying to increase the other one, assuming I still can. And now let's spend that wood. Oh yeah, I didn't spend the 3 food, 3 meat. And I'm going to get both of these. So this is 6 coal. I can split because it's on 2 separate actions. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, second last round. We got 4 cards. Let's draw a new tile for blue. And I could really use some sand to get my glass up, but I need that meat. There's still got lots of water. I could do water for meats. Need to get my glass constructed by 4 the end of the game. I had to max out that glass. So let's do some sand production, or possibly more meat, depending on how things go. And a build. In case I can build it this turn. And maybe another sand and water. Yeah, that's probably, oh no, you want, I think I might need to use this for porridge because my burning a forest for porridge from the joinery is not going to happen more than once more. Okay, first cards. Okay, this gives me some meat. Gives me 3. 1, 2, 3. That is what I need. Wish I could get that a little later, but that's fine. Spends a water for 2 more meats. Okay, I have more meat than I need now. And we're on to the food of the build. I may have to just take the build before it's too late. I will be getting back, let's see, my hand, something useful. Do want coal by the end of the game though, and coal could be harder to come by. So let's see here. I'm looking for more wood. Oh yes, here we go. Change wood to coal. So I think I'm gonna take this one, get a forest tile, throw that there, and then I'm going to build for 3 meat. The tile we've been working towards, where I get a point per 3 coal. And okay, that's the end of the round. Let's fill up the bag and draw the factory. Ooh, 2 points per adjacent tile, per adjacent sandpit. This might be my key to extra points. If I can get enough wood and brick on the last round. I have the brick, I just need the wood. And I already have a nice little spot here set up for 4 points. Okay, let's see, can I stretch that far? I still gotta get my glass up more and get my coal up as high as I can. So let's see, but now potentially 4 wood. Yeah, I definitely need to use the multiple wood. That would give me 4. This comes out in the right order, it'd be perfect. Don't have any oatmeal to speak of. I think some more coal. Yeah, no, we've got the wood for coal. Even more wood would be good. We may have to go for the supplier. Again, if the free building is quite strong. Oatmeal. I got to pick 5 cards. All right, you know what? Let's try that field collector again. Maybe we'll be lucky and draw him first and get a whole bunch of coal. I only have 1 or 2 water left though. I never did get my sand built to produce that glass. So let's see. I think the water carrier. He could give me wood or sand. Yeah, I could probably use more sand though. Yeah, you know what? Since I'm getting 4 food at a time, I think that's probably best. And I feel like I could use more wood just in case. So I'm going to take the feudal lord just in case I need that extra wood. We'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 1 building card though. Oh, that's not what I want. For build. Okay, whatever. We're gonna try it. Kind of wish I had that. Those other cards in my hand. Oh well. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, last round. Let's see what I can do. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we've got 1 wood per production forest. So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good start. Good starts. And then building. Okay, I have the 3 bricks and the 1, 2, 3, 4 wood. Now this is only actually an increase of 1 point technically. You know what? 1, 2, 3. let's think about this for a second. The bricks are already worth 1 point each. If I spend all the bricks, I'm only netting 1 point. But then when I make up food, then I'll make more bricks. So yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's build this one in here. Next. Okay, I'm gonna get the food, the wood and the meat. And then it's gonna come down to the last 2 choices here. And this is where it's gonna be quite tough. Fuel collector is probably not useful anymore. So it's going to come down to the water carrier. I'm going to use my joinery to spend a wood, remove the last natural forest, and get 4 oatmeal. And this would have been great on my glass track. But it's not. It's only going to produce 1 glass, which will be an extra 3 points. But if I produce 4 food of oatmeal, the bricks will fill up again. So I'll have 3 bricks, which is 3 points. It's really it's the same thing. Oh, but you went the other way. I lose more wood that I could spend on coal. You know what, it probably works out the same. Let's just try it. So I'm going to take the 4 food. Yeah, because I don't want to lose coal. Very straight here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to spin around. Yep. Hold on a second. Yeah. It was here. So it's going to spin around there. And then I'm going to have the 3 bricks. And only 1 food to spend. That is fine. I'm really low on coal there, though. And then I'm going to get 4 water. 1, 2, 3, 4. A wood and a sand, which does not give me any more glass, unfortunately. But I can spend a wood for 2 coal. So let's go 1 here for 2. Another one, another 2. Another one for another 2. And that is game. Okay. Let's figure out some points here. All right, so we have 0, so there's 2. We have a point for every 3 coal. So we've got 6 coal here and 6 coal there. That is 12. All right, so that works out to 4 points. We're at 6 points. For adjacent, we get 2, so that is, we're up to 10 now. Then we have 3 points per glass, so 10, and we're at 2 glass, so 16 points. We have half points for sand, so 16 and a half. Not amazing. And then points per bricks, so 1 point per brick. We're at 3, so that brings us up to 19. So that is not too bad a score. This is a generally very low scoring game. They do say that if you score up to 30, it is considered amazing. That is very rare. I've scored in the 20s, but scoring up to 30 is pretty tough. I really love the spinners. This automatic production is a neat little puzzle because not only does it force you to think about production in the sense that you don't get to choose production, right? Like most games you get to like activate a building, spend resources, produce. This game you don't have a choice. If you, for example, if right now I was to gain meat, if I spend brick and then gain meat, my oatmeal would actually will get consumed immediately by creating another brick. So you have to think about what else is there that you are losing because of the way the production spins. Maybe you're playing ahead and you're hoping you're going to have a certain amount of wood left. And the production wheel spins around and catches up with the wood. And then all of a sudden your wood's gone and, throws you off. So the puzzle is really quite interesting. As you saw, I only built 4 tiles, in 7 rounds. And it's not a huge amount. You could probably build more. Maybe I should have for, five tiles. Okay, so that's not too bad. I build tile there almost every round. Finding combos in this game could be challenging, but also quite interesting. I found a little bit of combos with, the getting the wood spending for coal, and then a point for every 3 coal. That helped a lot. Some adjacency stuff. There's a little bit of luck in this, but it's quite interesting. So anyways, let's go back up to the top and I'll do a little bit more of a thorough discussion and give you my thoughts on the game. All right, so that was Glass Road. It definitely has a really classic Euro game kind of feel to it, without it being especially beige. I know Euro games are often accused of being ugly. This game does have quite a nice look for it, and I think that works. Or even the little landscape tiles. There's cute little stuff in here, like little sand castle on the sand tile. That's only on one of them. It's not on the rest. There are little beavers in the trees. It's quite cute. There's a whale in the pond. It works. The little miniature buildings and things all work. It looks good. The tiles are a nice thickness. These little boards with the rotating production work really well. They're just the right amount of stiffness, so they're not going to slide on you, but they're still easy enough to turn. The discs, work great. Cards, nice linen finish. It is a quality game. There's a fair amount of tiles in it, for each type. I'll just empty out one of the bags here. There's quite a lot of varieties, and the fact that you don't see a whole ton of buildings in the game does mean that each game is going to feel very different, and I like that. Although I do wish they cycle a little more. I think in a higher player count, it definitely cycles more often, because you're going to have more and more players just buying tiles and having them remove themselves from the board. New stuff comes out. Maybe you can't plan quite as much, but you'll get more options of what's out there. The solo really works nicely though, with the changing cadence of doing more and then less and then more actions. Lets you have a strong finish, and you feel like you've accomplished something. You can look down our little map, my little map here, and I've built some interesting stuff, scored some combos, and even if I, don't win, I still feel like I've had a cool game. I produced a lot of neat stuff. Things turned and spun and moved all around production. Like, stuff happened. There was action. Maybe not fighting combat action like in some board games, but it did feel like some things were happening. I was doing stuff, and maybe these are thematic, maybe they're not. I can see coal being used to operate machinery, or raise be burnt to bake bricks. Food and stuff and sand is used for resources for glass. Wood for framing, maybe for the glass. The buildings pretty much make sense. Charcoal kiln. You're spending wood to create coal or charcoal. The coal storage shed gives you that's the one where I get a point for every 3 charcoal. So the buildings are quite thematic and tie themselves well to the theme, as well as to how they work. Like the factory wants to be closer to the sand pits, and so they can get faster access to resources. Therefore, you get more bonus points. The theme does come through, even though it is still fairly dry Euro. Uwe Rosenberg still pulled it together and really thought out what each building does and how it fits into the greater scheme of things. They work. Whether buildings are constant actions or one-time use or production, is debatable, but it is an interesting game there where you've got additional actions. The more you build, creates more options for actions, and I like that in the game. I like when a game progresses and you get better throughout the game. You're not just doing the same thing over and over again. I do like that feel of having of growth, of having doing something and getting better. There are plenty of Euro games or any games that it's just the same all the way through, and I can play that for a little while, but I think for a game that wants me to keep coming back to play it, or that's going to stay in my collection, especially, or even just a longer game, I want to see progress, and there's lots that goes on. The action selection for solo works really well. For multiplayer, it doesn't make quite as much sense. I mean, I guess maybe if you're hiring these guys, as the carpenter to build something, I can see that. Like if he was yours alone, like if you were the only person who chose him, then he would be entirely under your employ and would work full time, so you get the full amount of his actions. But if multiple people hired the woodcutter, then he can only do so much for you. He can only do half the amount of actions. So it kind of makes sense. The being able to second guess or kind of suss out what other people are doing and are guessing what they're doing and producing, or when they're going to produce certain things, could let you strategically choose which guys you're going to play, as well as when other people are going to play them. If you see that another player really wants that building to work with their strategy and requires a lot of glass, they might be producing sand next first to create the glass on the production, so that then they can build later on. So you can probably guess they're going to go for sand, so you'll keep your pit worker in your hand, hoping that they'll kind of draw it out by playing their sand card, their pit worker card, and you'll essentially get it out for free, even though maybe you didn't want to do the whole action, you just wanted the bonus. So there is a little bit of kind of guessing what other players do, which does work quite well. The components are nice. I do like putting things like in the bags for drawing randomness. And there's probably other optimization methods. I have tokens in different bags per person, so you just hand one person their stuff and away they go. And yeah, it's an excellent little puzzle game. Yeah, there's nothing quite like it, especially in terms of the resource management. There are plenty of games with buildings and adjacency, but this creates a really tight little puzzle that is really quite different each time you play it. So I recommend it. The price point for the game is fairly high for this style of game, but with the variety you get, I think that pays out. So it's definitely recommended. It is coming back into print soon, so snag a copy if it interests you. If you'll have the old version, let me know if you've been enjoying it or if it's still in your collection. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm Will. This has been the Cardboard Minute, and have a great week playing more games.